Greetings, my good bitches. The name's Francis, Coke Francis. I'm an editor, comedy writer, drag artist, and I'm here because I'm in the mood for a quickie. And who the hell wears a wig during a quickie? Recently, I've been getting a decent-sized uptick in views on my buddy Cole video, which has made my heart soar. Some of you have asked for my opinion on the new Kids in the Hall, which recently premiered on Amazon Prime. And, in case you're wondering, it absolutely slaps. While I would love to do an in-depth review of it, and possibly will in the future, I wanted to get my thoughts out there as soon as I could before the buzz dies down, trying to stay relevant. I'm hip, I'm cool, I'm 45, so get ready for a Coke Francis Quickie TM as I break down what does and doesn't work in the new Kids in the Hall. First off, nothing doesn't work. Seriously. I knew it was going to be great, especially after seeing Scott Thompson's one-man show as Buddy Cole a few years back. Aside from Book of Mormon, it's the only live show I've ever seen that literally made me fall out of my fucking seat. But this actually exceeded my expectations. The kids have not softened, and they definitely haven't gone stale. Scott, Dave, Mark, Bruce, and Kevin have all honed their craft even further during the past 27 years and have come back stronger than ever. Some of the sketches do poke fun at their age, like this one where they're all strippers and all of their routines revolve around them being 60. And they brought back those signature meta jokes about the lives and careers of the kids themselves.
Are you Kevin McDonald?
Yes.
Well, that must mean
Yes, you are currently in a Kevin McDonald sketch.
I'm Dave Foley. Kevin, you promised you'd never do this to me again.
Sorry.
And why did you make me Southern? I can't do a Southern accent.
I know.
They managed to recapture that magic they first created in 1989 and injected 27 years of wisdom into it. The settings and concepts for the sketches are at once modern and timeless. They reflect current times, attitudes, and technologies without it coming off too much as a
"How do you do, fellow kids?"
In fact, they satirize those old white CEOs who are completely out of touch with reality, yet still have a stranglehold on today's entertainment.
So we all agree that gender parity is a good thing, but how do we men make money off of it?
The overwhelming majority of these sketches have entirely new characters and concepts, but are still in that classic absurdist vein of their old work. I could describe it myself, but I feel like this sketch says more than I ever could.
A drop average is the average amount of times during the delivery of a newborn that there is droppage. The national drop average is 57%, but my drop average, 39%.
Catch! Oh, God! Oh!
See? I don't do that 61% of the time.
Okay, I'm sold.
The one sketch I have not been able to stop thinking about is this next one, which is arguably the darkest one in the 8-episode series. I kept waiting to see if they were gonna do a Love and Sausages type sketch, and this one somehow topped it.
This is your friendly neighborhood DJ, Mike Motormouth Mulcahy, rolling out the rock to whoever's left in whatever's left of the greater metropolitan area. The weather today is mostly lethal, so stay indoors. And by indoors, we mean underground in a secure bunker or an abandoned mine. Ready or not, here I rock.
Well, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key.
We do get appearances from some of the classic characters like Buddy Cole, obviously, Crushing Your Head Guy, Gavin, Francesca Fiore and Bruno Punce Jones, and so on and so forth, but they each only appear once throughout the series. I kinda wish we could have seen at least a little bit more of them, but honestly, the new sketches are so good that I ain't even mad about it. Plus, I really can't complain when they brought back fucking Paul Bellini as well. They actually brought back Bellini. Really quick, personal anecdote. Around the beginning of the pandemic, which is when the kids first started writing this new series, series, I bought my mom a cameo from Dave Foley for Mother's Day because she's a huge Kids in the Hall fan. And in my request to him, I mentioned that my mom would always refer to him as the cute one. So we riffed on that for a while during the absolutely priceless 3-minute video he sent me and my mother, closing it out with Dave Foley, formerly the cute one. So you can imagine that when this happened during the intro,
Am I still the cute one? Sort of.
I literally spat out my fucking drink. It might be a coincidence, but the timeline matches up, and a boy can dream. We are truly lucky for the chance to see them back in action during the age of streaming because they're no longer censored by networks. They were given a solid amount of money and were probably allowed to do whatever the fuck they wanted, and they did not squander that opportunity. Don't lie to yourself. You know you've always wanted to see Kevin McDonald do a full frontal scene. And my good bitches, you're in for an experience. I keep seeing conversations around the web where people are like, the Kids in the Hall are back! My brothers in Christ, this is our last bastion of the opportunity for anti-PC humor that the Zoomers will hate. Help us, kids, you're our only hope to fight the woke crusade. Well, I hate to disappoint you, passionate free speech advocates, but absolutely none of these sketches in all 8 episodes come across as offensive or anti-PC at all, in any way, objectively. Why? Because they don't have to, and they know that. I mean, if your idea of anti-PC humor is just saying something bigoted without any context, just know that the kids have never done that, and they never will. Even the original show from 30 years ago was barely offensive. Sure, a couple sketches might not have aged perfectly, but that's the evolution of comedy. It's okay for some things to not age well. It doesn't necessarily take away from the artist and the rest of their work overall. To play devil's advocate, I do agree that there are some people who are far too eager to take jokes out of context. Most of the time, it annoys me just as much as it does you. And I'll be honest here, I was actually kind of worried that people on Twitter would dig up these old sketches and somehow manage to find something wrong with them. And since this reboot was one of the few things keeping me alive during this pandemic, I can understand your point to a degree. But this is nothing new. The PC crusade actually started back in the 90s, which is when the kids were first active, and it didn't seem to stop them back then, and it certainly isn't stopping them now. And I'm sure some of you will call me a woke libtard, whatever the fuck, because clearly you don't get offended by anything. But if you do think I'm too PC for your tastes, in my last video, I refer to genocide as a beta cuck move. So write that down. Anyway, back to what I came here to talk about. Final verdict on the Kids in the Hall 2022. 10 out of 10. Really, there is something for everyone here, from people who watched the original show to people who might not have even heard of them before. The kids are definitely better than alright. Between this and season 3 of The Boys coming out next week, Jeff Bezos has simply been spoiling me rotten. Believe it or not, and I don't know how problematic this is, but Bezos has supplied me with most of my drag. Let me know if you want to hear me talk about season 3 of The Boys too, mostly just because I need another excuse to wear my Homelander costume. Would that be too on the nose? That has the same energy as wearing the band shirt of the band you're about to see live. You just don't do that. I'd like to do another Kids in the Hall video in the future, and I'm sorry this one isn't longer. I just started a full-time job working post on an amazing show, so I will be trying my darndest to consistently get videos out for you guys. Trying to manage my time for this channel while working a full-time job is what I imagine it feels like to manage your time using the Death Note while staying at the top of your class. That is a completely accurate comparison, and you cannot change my mind. Even though this is a quickie video, I'm still going to announce my favorite comment from the last video. Roxy LaBelle says, "I know it's sexist, But I'd take a job go-go dancing in a Broadway production office in a heartbeat. Big mood right there. You too can be featured in the next video. Leave a comment below and I will pick my favorite one and give you a shout out next time. Before I peace out, and because I don't qualify for the community tab yet, I hit over 300 subs just before the release of my producer's video, and I just want to say I appreciate you so much. Every dick slap to those like and subscribe buttons helps support this channel, and I am beyond flattered that you all dropped your pants just for me. Hope you've all enjoyed your Coke Francis Quickie TM, and as always, until next time,